Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Emerald City Sports the podcast, and we're kind of have to speed run this first part because we
Take
were
two
like,
edition.
yeah, take two, because we were like a
It's
third.
supposed to be a one take Jake podcast, and
Yeah.
then now we're just like
Take two,
like
because
his my
it
oh
was
I had
not
mics. He
it
thought
was
my mic broke.
it was
Let's
not
explain it for all the viewers.
it was not
Okay,
my mic.
okay. You can stop now.
It
You
was
can
not
defend
my
yourself
audio.
later.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, funny
He
story.
thought
Funny
that he
story.
okay.
Josh's mic was tweaking, and we kind of had to stop it, and now we have to re-record because technical difficulties are great. That was like the second time we had a signal. The first time was really bad because my computer died. Then I get back in, and then Josh couldn't get back in, and so I had to end the episode on myself, and it was really bad. We don't talk about that episode, but okay, let's jump right. Ugh. I hate that voice crack. Okay, let's jump into what we were talking
Yeah,
about
you like the
before
second take
your
now,
mic.
Martin? You like the second take?
Okay, it's uncut. Let's just keep it that way. Let's go talk about what we were talking about before your mic cut out. Let's talk about the
Or your
Mariners.
audio broke because
My audio did not break, bro.
let's explain my side of the story. I had 3 microphones that were all working on my end. As if you're on Discord or whatever, you can tell that the mic is working if you have the green thing
yes.
around you. And also you can actually see if you go into your settings and stuff, you can test your mic. 3 mics worked for me. I can hear Martin as well. He can't hear me. And
Okay.
as soon as he
Look.
left the Discord call and rejoined back in, that's when it worked, and that's why we've wasted like 40 minutes fixing an issue that he thought it was me, but it was actually
Okay.
Martin. And that's
Look. Your mic was working completely fine, and then your mic cut out, and then you rejoined, and then it stopped working.
Have you thought about the Discord difficulties between interacting with
true.
OBS Studio, which is the recording software Martin uses? Because Discord is actually really funky that they don't actually like use that weird interaction with OBS audio because it's also recording your microphone separately right now. So if you accidentally change to a secret scene, or if they actually Discord updated or something, then that can actually take away the audio. And I know that thanks to my years of experience. Okay, let's continue.
All right, let's jump in to what we were talking about before all of this happened. And that was the Seattle Mariners. We got to start off with the bad news this week. And that was that the Seattle Mariners got eliminated from the playoffs in very, very disappointing fashion, as they dropped 1 of 4 games to the Rangers when they really needed a sweep. They could not get that done because Luis Castillo choked, Julio Rodriguez choked, Jerry DiPoto and the front office decided to make some very interesting statements, and Cal Raleigh too. But Cal Raleigh had a very good point when he said that. So let's just speed run through what we were talking about here. Josh, disappointing series with the Rangers. What did you think?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, we just we basically clutched up the first 2 games, and then we just couldn't finish it. We ran out of juice, and obviously also Luis Castillo doing what he did for half his starts this season and blowing in like 5+ runs and everything. To the Texas Rangers when the moment counted. He's our best pitcher, blah, blah, blah. And then we blew the lead, blew the series. Paul Sewald couldn't help us, but he gets to go to the divisional series and as well. So yeah.
As you can tell. Okay, all the good things we talked about were in the first take that is now deleted.
Wait, you deleted it?
Yeah, I did. Sorry. My bad.
Disappointing.
Yeah, okay, we were on a roll in that first take, and then, technical stuff happened.
You
So,
actually deleted it?
yeah, I did. Josh ain't happy with me. I'm sorry. We're keeping this uncut, Josh. Remember, our episodes are completely uncut. No edits, no cutting things out. Just completely raw.
We are cutting
reaction.
the first take out. We must show the first take for everybody to see what happened. Obviously, they
Okay.
can't see from my end. Though maybe I should. Maybe I should boot up OBS Studio so that they can actually see it from my end and
Okay.
see that my
Okay.
Wi-Fi is completely fine. I could hear you completely fine. My mic works.
Well, okay.
All that.
I'll ask the people in the comments if they want it. Okay. We'll just leave it there. But I hope they say no because that'd be very embarrassing. Okay. Okay. Just know
Hey
we
guys,
were.
for the people,
Just know we were
I'll I'll
absolute. Just know we were
I'll
absolutely
transition
cooking.
to a Husky fan. Okay.
We just know we were absolutely cooking in that first take, and then all this stuff happened. But we weren't able to get to Jerry DiPoto. Now, Kyle Raleigh got into a lot of controversy with the front office and the PR because he said that Seattle needs to spend a little more, and he was completely right. Josh and I agreed together. Cal Raleigh deserves to speak his mind. Although he went over 4 on the game we lost, he was a very crucial player to this season and to last season for obvious reasons. And for him to have to apologize for speaking his mind is absolutely ridiculous on the Mariners' end, especially considering that the Mariners are known for telling their players to speak their mind and be themselves. Absolute hypocrisy from the Mariners PR, the Mariners front office. Ridiculous. Josh, give yourself a little speed run on what you thought about, Kyle Raleigh's apology.
Set your stopwatch, kids. Cal Raleigh uh made actually a pretty good take. And probably is a leader of that clubhouse, honestly.
Not
People liked
JP?
it.
I would say JP would be, right?
Okay. I feel like he's the most like psychological. I mean,
Okay.
JP has his ups and downs. Cal Raleigh has been able to do it and catches the ball, gets hurt a lot. I mean, come on. There's an argument can be made, but Cal Raleigh made a good take. He, probably the press team forced him to apologize. People hated it. The press team thought it wouldn't. Thought it would blow over quickly. It did not. People got mad because it was actually a pretty good take instead of something stupid like some other athletes have done.
And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, Cal was completely right. See us spend. Hashtag see us spend, guys. Us Mariners fans are using that hashtag from now on because it's completely right. Like, get rid of see us rise. Put see us spend in there because it makes sense. We need to spend more money. There were so many free agents that we missed out the opportunity on signing on, and DiPoto decided to just go cheap, which I guess was fine this year because Canzone and Rojas were actually not as bad as we thought they would be. Um, but there were so many guys out there you could have taken. If you just give a little bit of money to them, we would be a lot better and not in the situation that we were right now. Speaking of more controversy, it sucks that we have to repeat all this. But Jerry DiPoto. Josh, give an explanation of what Jerry DiPoto said.
I will give an explanation. Probably you can't do that definition. Anyway, Gary DiPoto said that in order his goal for the Mariners franchise was to have a 54% on average winning percentage, which is about 88 and 74.
Which is
Which
what we got,
to
right?
be fair is 90 wins is actually basically has been the number to get into the playoffs as of late. So by doing this, that means we would make over a 10-year stretch, we would make the playoffs probably 7 or 8 times because if we would average to basically just under a playoff spot, there will be some times where we get way over that playoff spot or just a little bit under, but maybe some like the AL sucks or whatever, and we make it 7 or 8 times and then we just play if we can make it those 7 or 8 times, then he thinks we'll have the caliber to maybe go far or reach the ALDS, and then maybe if we're lucky, reach the World Series and win the World Series. But that's his game plan. He didn't actually explain it that well, but that's exactly what I got. Oh, I want to say that his logic is a little bit flawed. And let's go back into the good old days, 1993 to 2003, a 10-year stretch for the Mariners. that contains some of the best to ever play it and the 2001 squad. Winning percentages from 1993 to 2003: 50%, 43%, 54%, 52%, 55%, 47%, 48%, 56%, 71%. I think you know what that year is that. 57%, 57%. That averages easily above that 48%. It's a little bit around 51, 50-ish. I can't exactly calculate it that much. But yeah, pretty high, especially thanks to the 2001 team. We all know what happened. You made the playoffs only four times in that stretch. You lost in the ALCS three times, in the ALDS once. A World Series berth. We are the only MLB team that's still active that hasn't made the World Series, and we lost three times in the ALCS. Two of them in Game 7 or Game 6. We didn't even make it to a
Yep.
Game 7.
Not good. Not good. And I mean, to think that not only did he say 54% was the goal, like, okay, first off, that's ridiculous. Like, isn't your goal as an MLB team to win the World Series? Just like an NFL team would try to win the Super Bowl. Just like an NBA team would try to win the NBA Finals. Just like an NHL team would try to win the Stanley Cup. That's your goal every year. Look, you might not always have the best team, but that's still your goal. Your goal is to always be the best team in that league. Why is your goal to win 54% of games? Like, okay, first off, why is it so specific that is 54%? And second off, at the very least, you could have just made your goal make it to the playoffs. Because 51% is 88 and 74, which is, like you said, Josh, bubbling under the playoff berth chances. Because usually it's supposed to be 90 wins, which is what we got the year prior and the year before that. And to fall short this year, which we did get 54% winning percentage. And then also to say that the fans, he said something about the fans. I'm completely blanking. Something about like they should be grateful or whatever. That really set the fans off. That set a lot of people off in Seattle to think you did not make the playoffs. And now you're going to go out there and say the fans should be grateful. The what? What are the fans supposed to be grateful for? Are the fans supposed to be grateful for not making the playoffs this year? Because I know that every Mariners fan out there is very, very pissed at the fact that we made the playoffs last year and then could not capitalize on that Cinderella run that we had. Look, he did apologize. He did apologize to Seattle Sports earlier this morning
Apologize.
of the recording, but still, that's a ridiculous statement, especially as general manager, knowing you are the guy that needs to get these players, sign these players, trade these players to make your team better, and you're out here saying, I think I've done a solid job. I think the fans should be grateful. Like, come on, dude. That is not the best general manager move. I think Jerry DiPoto is actually a great manager, general manager, but that statement just was not it. A ridiculous statement. Josh, you want to build on that?
I mean, props to him. He is a really good general manager in the minor leagues. I mean, this season was amazing. Three playoff teams, one champion, two lost in the finals of their leagues. Though Aqua Sox only had one round, Arkansas had two, and then the Tacoma Rainiers, or basically the Seattle Mariners B team, um was like 2 or 3 games short of making it to the playoffs. So actually, a really good minor league system, and I mean we saw that with Arkansas pitchers. I mean, being just Arkansas pitchers, not even like Tacoma pitchers, just being called up to use and put into starting rotation. But still, that team was still able, without them, to make it to the playoffs and almost win. They lost in a best of 3 series and lost on game 3. Um, Aqua Sox, they're doing what they can, but DIPOTO has been like drafting these really good guys, that actually can work together as a team with other Mariners prospects in this uh farm system, and go out and win immediately. They don't even need to go to the managers to start winning, getting that competitive spirit.
And yeah, it was just interesting. Look, he's a great general manager. We all gotta give him props for that. But it just he could have chosen his words better in the end, especially after a very underwhelming. Would you say very? Yeah, I would say underwhelming season because a lot of Mariners fans are hoping this is the year we win the AL West. This is the year we are truly a contender for the World Series, and they were not able to do that. So an underwhelming season capped off by some interesting statements from players and from the general manager. All right, get all that take two stuff out of the way. Let's go off to the stuff, the good stuff of Seattle sports that we were not able to get to. Let's go to the Seahawks. I think this is like besides the offseason, this might be the first time we talked about the Seahawks. Second, but wait, no. We talked about the Seahawks second when the
Mariners were
drought
heating up.
was over, when the drought finished. That was when we. But let's go back to the Seahawks here. Great news coming out of Lumen Field and Virginia Mason Athletic Center, if you want to count that too, because the Seahawks are now 3-1, looking very good out there against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, where they absolutely whomped Daniel Jones for 11 sacks, and the Giants only scored 3. They scored 8 less points than we got sacks. That is very embarrassing for New York, but the Seahawks played an overall very complete. I would say complete game, honestly, because the offense was driving down fine. A couple bumps here and there, but and then also like the defense finally showed up, and Clinton Hurt gets to keep his job for another week, which is great if you're Clinton Hurt. Josh, what did you think of the Seahawks and their stomp on the Giants?
I didn't touch that painting once at all
So
throughout the entire game. That's a W to painting and art fans everywhere. I didn't have to wear my Giant sweatshirt because they got absolutely destroyed. I wish we got like 4 more points. Then would be kind of funny. Uh,
why did the
and
Falcons need to catch a stray there, Josh? That was kind of unnecessary. Poor Falcons. Okay.
but
Okay,
it would be
continue.
kind of funny. I
Continue.
mean, like we're in the Super Bowl environment, like where we won our first Super Bowl, and then we
This
would
is
score four
dude,
points and dominate.
MetLife Stadium is basically Lumen Field East at this point. Come on. We're like undefeated over there, right? It's looking
We are
funny now.
6-0 at MetLife Stadium, but
I hate that turf.
we, yeah, that turf absolutely sucks. Metgrave Stadium, as I called it. Aaron Rodgers. Now we can add Jamal Adams and Geno Smith to the star players that got hurt due to MetLife's turf. Thankfully, it'll be switched to grass in time for the World Cup, which isn't until 3. So, gotta play more at Metgrave Stadium.
We could talk about Jamal Adams later. But coming back to the game, I mean, we gotta talk about Devin Witherspoon here. Like, holy cow, this guy is a gem. And Pete Carroll and John Schneider absolutely made the right pick at number 5. We were all a little skeptical when it came out because we were looking for what, maybe a QB, because I mean, even though Geno Smith was great the year before, we thought maybe we'll get a rookie to back him up for a little bit and then pull the Aaron Rodgers on Brett Favre. That didn't happen. We got a cornerback. Everyone was like, why? We already have solid cornerbacks. We already have Reek Woolen. We already have Mike Jackson. But Mike Jackson didn't do that great in the preseason. And while Devin Witherspoon was holding out, everyone labeled him a bust already before he even touched grass. And then he came out and proved everybody wrong. Played great against the Lions. Played great against the Giants this week in an absolutely amazing game. 97-yard pick six, 2 sacks, and a solid amount of tackles. Let me get it up here. He got 7 tackles. So he also won NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, Josh, this guy is a gem. What did you think of Witherspoon?
He has graduated from a teaspoon into a soup spoon, which is actually a little bit slightly bigger than a teaspoon. Uh, just a little bit of spoon knowledge here. Um, yeah, he showed why he was the number 5 pick in the draft. Looked great in that nice all white uniform, and he took it to the house. Going according to Next Gen Stats, fastest recorded player on the field at 20.25 miles per hour. That is
Fastest, fastest,
really fast.
fastest on the field, Josh? Because I have the next gen stat right here. I saw it. He wasn't the fastest player on the
There
field.
was two things.
To
Rookie
with
Watch says it's the fast recorded period that actually ran with the ball at
that's
20.25,
yeah, that's what I was.
but
That was on my.
surprisingly not what's his name? Not Love,
It was
though.
Reek Woolen.
It
Reek
was
Woolen ran
Rick
22 on
Woolen
that. That's what next gen
blocking
stat
for
said.
him at 22.25
Yes, there we
miles,
go.
according to Greg Bell on Twitter, because I'm still calling it Twitter because
X.
I'm like that. He shut it down. I mean, he got the interception. He took it to the house. He was able to actually evade blockers. The job, took it to the house in front of the 12th man there, because there was like no Giants fans, because they probably all left.
They sure did. It was funny seeing how every time like the Giants messed up, they just cut to a Giants fan looking absolutely depressed. It was
Yeah,
pretty fun.
that's
I
fine.
mean, you could have like cut it to a Seahawks fan who was absolutely hyped because I know there were plenty of Seahawks fans over in New York. I mean, they invaded MetLife. Um, like we said, 11 sacks. That ties the team record, by the way. Bobby Wagner had two. Witherspoon had two. Jordan Brooks had two. Uchenna Nwosu had two. Mario Edwards had one. Miles Adams had one. Boye Mafe had one. Yeah. Just an absolute sack party on Daniel Jones. Like Steve Ribble said, Daniel Jones is going to have nightmares of the Seahawks defense in his dreams for a good week. But like I mean, when I saw the defense out there, I was like, you know what? It's the Giants. They're not supposed to be good. Their offense is supposed to be absolute booty. They're not utilizing Darren Wall the way they're supposed to be. Saquon Barkley is hurt. 11 sacks is good, but it's the Giants. But after that, I thought, the Seahawks, their O line is absolutely injury ridden too. Abe Lucas is out. Charles Cross is out. Evan Brown had to move from center to guard, and we put a rookie in at guard. I mean, at center. What? Phil Haynes got hurt. Anthony Bradford had to come in. So it's not like the Giants O line was bad either. The Seahawks O line was on their second and third stringers, and they were still able to protect Geno pretty freaking well. So this defense really, really improved. It's not just because it's the Giants. It's because Clint hurt, and this defense has been able to really, really change things up. They have been able to adjust, and it clearly worked out against the Giants. A great game overall. How about shout out Drew Lock, by the way? This guy came in. Geno's okay. Can I say the Giants are super dirty? Come on, like there were so many flags that should have been called that weren't called. Anyways, back to Drew Lock. Solid way to come in when Geno's hurt and to lead a touchdown drive. That is why if Geno Smith is to leave the Seahawks, I'm gonna be okay with Drew Lock at QB. A lot of people might not, but I will because that guy. Look, I get it, 2 for 6, but he threw for 63 yards and he led a touchdown drive. That's all I'm gonna say. Drew Lock is the goat. He is the goat. I will never forget when he was rapping on the sidelines. Josh, Geno Smith, not the best game. I mean, he only threw 110 yards. He did miss some time with being in the locker room to check out his knee, but he led a solid game managing game. What did you think of this offense? Because, I mean, there's a lot to say about the defense, but the offense did its job too.
I'll start with Drew Lock. I mean, he was like his passes were like really noticeable to be like completely different and like weirdly like wobbly and stuff. Obviously, that 63-yard pass to Noah Fant, which she is the only guy that actually caught his passes. I think for obvious reasoning
Poor,
here.
poor Broncos. That had a sting for them. I'll say that.
Yeah, but I think he just got really lucky on the play that he was wide open. It wasn't like Drew Lock threw it 63 yards downfield. Nah, he just chucked it to Noah Fant and let yards after catch do its thing. Now for the offense, yes, we were able to score 24 points. Um, keep on messing up head like we scored 27 or 28 for some reason. Like the Falcons still taking over my brain here, and I'm still throwing shade at them. But it seemed like our offense just like they'll score. They got lucky. One of those was a pick six. One of them we had 10 yards down the red zone. But other than that, like we had a good drive. May prefer more in the second half. We just couldn't like. It was just like a one and done like thing. Like we couldn't get
Yeah.
it done on third down against the Giants defense. And then the series where we had like so many penalties, back to back holdings and false starts and out of that, and we absolutely got saved thanks to a really good pass by Geno Smith to lock it to get out of that weird like first and like 30-ish or something. I can't remember the exact number. But yes, we have a O line and that will affect the rhythm a lot. But you can't have those holdings and false start penalties against any team. And to do that against the weaker team, you can't literally in a stadium where half the fans are your fans, can't get anything done against a bad team. Get the rhythm straight. You, next man up includes having the right rhythm. It isn't about just being there to replace him, having the strength to be able to block your guy. You need to be able to sync with the team as fast as possible. And that wasn't exactly happening, though it's not entirely their fault. It just needs to sink in a lot quicker.
Yeah, the offense they've got some things to work on. I still will say they did pretty good. The rushing was fine. I mean, obviously with that kind of defense that they had backing them up, the offense didn't need to do much. But I feel like when they were out there, yeah, third down, not it. They did score some points though, so I'm fine with that. As long as we get come out of there with a win, I'm happy. Now we gotta talk about the injuries, man. Like you said, Metgrave Stadium. We got a lot of injuries out there. But the most notable one, I wouldn't say it was because of the turf. It was more because of Daniel Jones's knee. But it was Jamal Adams. That might be a that might be a record since what 3 weeks ago when Aaron Rodgers got hurt on that same field. Look, Jamal Adams coming back was a great feeling, only for him to get concussed on the first drive, which really sucked. Good news is probably won't be out for the entire season. He should be back soon after the bye week. I mean, okay, we were complaining about this bye week when the schedule came out, but now it just seems like we really need it. This week 5 bye is something we really need because we have so many injuries. We have been absolutely nailed in the face with the injury bug this year. So this week 5 bye seems more like a blessing at this point because these guys really need to rest up before we play the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll preview the Bengals next episode because we don't need to worry about that right now. We're on bye. But man, we really need to heal up, or else if the injury bug keeps hitting this team, I don't think we'll make the playoffs, especially with so many of our guys out and having to put in so many backups into this lineup, especially on the O line, because we need protection for Geno Smith. Abe Lucas is on IR. Charles Cross is hurt. The guards are also hurt, and it's not great. It's not looking good. So this bye week can't come any sooner at this point. All right, Josh. Even better news. Let's move on to even better news because the Seattle Sounders are in the MLS playoffs. You can see Josh is absolutely hyped, ladies and gentlemen. Josh, take it away.
Seattle Sounders. I didn't want to swear. I don't want to swear on this podcast. I was just about to do that. Um really hype, man. Not the pretty good way to start the season. Not a way to this has been the season. It's really been on and off here, just like the same old Sounders here. Feel like no improvement. We're getting even less money than DIPOTO's giving the Mariners. No new players at
Dude.
all. Then on the first game of a week where we'll have two home matches. In the first match against the LA Galaxy, a attendance of 33,000 in the stands, which isn't as loud as the Seahawks, but we don't talk about that. And trying to snap what could have been the first time where the Mariners didn't win in 6 consecutive
Mariners?
home matches. Sounders.
Whoa. Okay. Out of
Well, I
all the
mean the
people,
Mariners.
Josh messed up the Sounders
Shut.
name. Everyone would think that would be me. Okay. Okay. Keep going.
Well, I mean, I think they would rebrand. The rebranding and everything's a little bit hard, but
That's
I
true.
mean, the Mariners have probably lost 6 consecutive home matches, but the Sounders could have lost for the first time since joining MLS, not being able to get a win, not a tie, a win out of 6 consecutive home matches. They strolled up the Lumen Field, and Jordan Morris, who just had a baby, scored in the 10th minute. Place goes absolutely wild. The Sounders were attacking, like very pressing forward up the pitch, which helped because LA Galaxy, second to worst team in the West, was giving up a lot of really bad turnovers right in their zone, which made a lot of setup shots um that could be used towards the goal. Jordan Morris puts one in early. There we go. But then in the 54th minute, oh how the timing goes with the
Yikes.
54% thing and all.
It was
We
perfect.
creep up too early. We creep up too much. And the LA Galaxy launches a counterattack, but we have 4 defenders right on a line together in the goal box. Galaxy just pass it up to a guy right in the middle of our defense. It was a 2v4, and it's a wide open shot against Stephen Fry. They score, tie game. Literally, all hope is lost. The stadium goes absolutely quiet. And then we try. Here comes the comeback. Try and try again, taking over, I think, 10 corner kicks. Too many shots. Rusnak completes a hat trick of getting a shot blocked, kicking the ball over the goal, and kicking it right at the goalkeeper. He does the trifecta there. Rusnak keeps on cannot make a goal. Um, in the 95th minute, 5 minutes in added time, header goes in right to Roldan, puts it in after a little bit of jibber jabber, and we clinch with the win. Clinch the playoffs. We are second in the West behind St. Louis. We are too far away to catch the number 1 seed, but we are in the playoffs, and so are 4 other teams that clinched their spots on Wednesday.
How fitting is it that to punch their ticket to the playoffs, they got goals from arguably two of their best players? Like, would you? I would say Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan are their best players, right? How fitting is it? Your two best players punch you guys into the playoffs. It's perfect. It's a perfect ending. Well, not ending, but a perfect way to get into the playoffs for the Sounders. I mean, after last year missing it, you really needed a bounce back. You needed to end that 1 year drought, and they were able to do it. They prove why they are back in the playoffs, why they are, even with ups and downs, a team that still needs to be reckoned with. So, Josh, I mean, there's only 2 games left. They already got their ticket in the playoffs. Are they going to rest their players? Are they going to keep them playing? What is going to go on with these games against Vancouver and St. Louis?
I think these are going to be used as just like ramp up games towards the playoffs. Obviously, the game between Vancouver and St. Louis is actually pretty far, 2 weeks away from each other, which is because of the international break there. But the thing is that there's no bye to fight for. And even then, St. Louis has already basically clinched the number one spot, pending unless an absolutely meltdown. But that's not going to happen because they're the brand new team MLS, and they're just really good. I got to give it to them. I thought they would falter, but they're in the number one spot. There's no bye. All 8 teams are gonna play. All 8 teams in the West and 8 teams in the East are all gonna play in the first round of the playoffs, which is a best of three.
Oh,
I know, right?
wow.
Best of three series for a soccer. That's like something that's very unheard of. And as of right now, we would be playing Portland, which
Oh,
we
shoot.
haven't done great. We haven't won a game in like 2 years. Do you want to? Yes, we would be hosting 2 of the games at home if we needed the game 3. But do you think we would want to play 3 games against Portland?
Nope, not at all. Portland's got our number.
No. And the worst, and I mean, the other options are worse. I mean, we could drop down, or Vancouver, we could beat Vancouver and force them to drop down, or then we would be playing Vancouver for a best of 3 matches, which, I mean, another Cascadia rival beat them more, I guess, but still they've had our number before, and we're not the it doesn't matter who we play against because we're really bad at penalty kicks. So if we draw the matches, we just go straight to penalty kicks to decide who wins the game. There's no overtime for any of these games. There's no draws. You just go straight to penalty kicks to decide who's going to win the best of 3 series, and that's not going to be good no matter who we play against. But it looks like we're going to play against a Cascadia rival, which would be fun but not good for the Sounders.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting once the playoffs come around. We'll see if the Sounders can maybe change the number in their favor because look, Portland and Vancouver do have their number. But once it's playoffs, everything is off the table. Now it's a whole new soccer game, and the Mariners can really change it in. No, oh shoot, the Sounders can really change it in their favor. The Sounders. Come on, let's be real here. They got it. They got it. I think they got it. I don't know. I feel a little confident. Maybe they'll get a new logo curse, but I think they'll be fine. Come on. I think once playoffs come around, the Sounders will get back into a new gear, and I think they can prevail. Whether it's Portland or Vancouver, they'll prevail. Calling it right there. All right, Josh. Let's go over to the Kraken. Had a couple more preseason games to play. Um, Lost to the Oilers four
Couple,
one. Yeah,
couple,
couple. Right? I mean, they played the
couple.
Oilers, and then they played the
Yep.
Canucks again. Right?
No.
Right?
No. No.
What am I tripping on?
Played against the Canucks yesterday.
I know, but then we played the Oilers like before that, on the second.
Oh, it's been a couple games. Oh yeah, we only have one preseason game left
Yep, and
against the
which is
Oilers.
gonna be on the day we post this, and then after that, regular season is coming back on again. So Josh, what did you see from those last 2 preseason games? Oh, the previous 2 preseason games.
Um, yeah. So it's the Oilers. In Climate Pledge Arena. Yeah, that doesn't. I mean, they're the Oilers, and it's a preseason game. But obviously, we got crushed on that game. But all 5 goal scorers in that game were either an Oilers player for their 4 goals or a former Oilers player because we just got the goal scorer. I can't pronounce his name. Can I? I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't. I can't. Kylier Yamamoto, Kalir or Kalier or whatever. Former Oiler that we just picked up this season. So we just got 5 Oilers scored, and then we lose. We lose the shootout. Um, Maddie Beniers is the only person to make the goal for the Kraken. They actually have shootouts in preseason, even when the game isn't tied. And then the Vancouver game, They didn't actually like show. You could not find a place to watch the game. It was during the same time
Hockey
against the
life.
Sounders game. Seattle Kraken couldn't post any highlights of the game on their social media. There hasn't been a highlight reel I have seen posted on it. So all we can do is look at the stats, and as we can see, is that Joey the Cord went absolutely is very very good, and he is. I think there is a little bit of a goalie battle here to who's going to be the backup behind Grubauer. Jacord looks like he's going to win that.
Interesting. They got one more game against the Oilers, and then it's time. They play the Golden Knights first, which will be a very interesting game. That one is going to be in Vegas, so starting off the season on the road. Hopefully, they get back to that form they were last year to be able to upset the Avalanche and then bring it into a very tough series against the Dallas Stars. Able to prove a lot of doubters wrong. Hopefully, they can do that this year, unlike the Mariners. Sorry, I'm mad. All right,
Shade.
I will say no offense to the Kraken, but I will say
Let's see
their
how they'll
their their
do.
their game against the Oilers wasn't even the most interesting thing because the day before, AEW had a pay per view and Adam Copeland made his debut, aka Edge. Sorry, Josh. So I know
Who
you hate wrestling.
cares?
I know you hate wrestling. Okay, let's go to some fantasy football, Josh. Are you proud of me, Josh? I got my first win. I finally got a dub, and I beat Langston in, I guess you could say, was an upset alert. Meanwhile, you lost. you you dropped 83 points, Josh.
Okay. Yeah.
Prescott 14. Dalvin Cook only got 2. James Cook got 14. Gerald Everett only 2. So I mean, you were just outnumbered, especially since Harrison had Stephon Diggs and Mark Andrews. So I think you were set to lose. Although if you started
Oh
Michael Wilson, I
shoot.
think if you started Michael Wilson and Zach Wilson, I think you might have had like maybe a chance. Let's go to me though. I mean, I won. I'm pretty happy about it. Gino only got 9 points, which is fine because Josh Jacobs got 27. McLaurin got 22, although he just absolutely crapped the bed earlier on the Thursday night game. Puka Nakua, my goat, 31. Romeo Dobbs got 18, and Butker got 11, which is pretty solid. So, I mean, my team did good. I'm so happy I finally got a win. I don't think I'm last anymore, am I? I'm second to last because Avery is 0-4, and I happen to be facing Avery this week. So, if I get another win, I might be chilling, Josh. I might be chilling. Who is Josh playing this week, though, ladies and gentlemen? Josh is playing. Flex your coxes. Okay. All right. All right. Justin Fields went off. So, Josh, it's not looking very great for you. But you are currently 2-2. So, you're not in a horrible position right now. You're kind of chilling. You have the Cook brothers. What do you think?
Bears game just ended 40-20. Um, Justin Fields threw for
Justin
four
Fields was
touchdowns and
finally good,
290.
guys. Isn't that crazy?
They actually got their first win of the season. They threw for four touchdowns and 292 yards. Khalil Herbert, 76 yards, 7.6 points for a running back, which actually is pretty okay, especially since
18-man league.
yeah, 18-man league as well. And now he's leading 40 points with only two players. That is not. I mean, I don't even. Last week just sucked, honestly. Injuries galore, just people not showing up as always, just fantasy wise. But like this week sucks. Tyler Lockett, Gerald Everett, and Cameron Dicker are on bye. I have to pick a backup kicker. I still have to. I have five people on my bench that will get zero, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Um, so
I
make
mean,
that
if it
basically
makes you
six
feel
people,
better, Raheem Mostert was
and Zach
absolutely
Wilson, so
mid.
he'll get zero too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes you feel better.
Zach Wilson's
Mostert was absolutely mid last week, so I mean, it's not. It's fine. I have Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon. I think I'll be okay. And besides, Puka Nacua carries my team. Like, this guy is something else. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the story of Puka unfold. But I think I'm fine. 1-3 is... At least I'm not last, okay? At least I'm not Avery. As long as I don't get
At
last,
least we're
I'm
not
happy.
Detroit.
I'm happy if I'm not last. Where am I right now? I am projected to be 11th, and you are projected to be 8th. So it's gonna be interesting. It is gonna be a very interesting week 5, especially since the buys are coming back in. We'll see how teams can, adjust. So I think that might be it. That is it for take 2 of our episode. Yeah. If only we were able to do it on take 1, it would feel a lot better. Anyways, see you guys next time. Thanks for listening to Emerald City Sports, the podcast. Check us out on YouTube, on Spotify, where we will get our episodes back up. And anywhere else you get your podcast, we will see you guys next time. Stay tuned to Seattle Sports, because once again, it is heating up. But the manor is already cooled down.